Well, guys, we're going to be talking about failed presidential candidate Kamala Harris. What is next? What is next for her after a blowout loss to President Trump? Now, guys, usually VPs, they disappear and never are heard from again if they lose an election or not running for office again. I mean, guys, did anybody really know where Dick Cheney was? Well, of course, he resurfaced from his Trump derangement. That was about it. Dan Quayle, I really haven't heard from Dan Quayle since 1992. Al Gore, nobody's really actually heard from him, except for the climate thing or whatever. Usually they disappear. But apparently, guys, this one guy on CNN does not want Comrade Kamala to go away. I believe, folks, after that devastating blowout loss to President Trump, her political career is over. It is over with. Now, we know, guys, that there was talk about the Democrats actually packing the courts in 2020 because the conservatives have a 6-3 majority, and actually it's more like 5-4 sometime because you really can't trust on John Roberts. Thank you, George W. Bush. But anyway, but I got to give Biden credit. Biden did not pack the courts. He didn't pack the Supreme Court. So when who was it that retired and Ketanji Brown Jackson actually got on there? It's still 6-3. Okay, can't remember the name off the top of my head right now. Guys, this guy on CNN, Bakari Sellers, is actually floating the idea that Joe Biden should appoint Kamala Harris to the Supreme Court before he actually leaves office. Guys, this is not going to happen. It's not going to happen, guys. Did you guys actually see Joe Biden? Look down here, man. I don't have the clip here, but I do have this picture of Joe Biden. Joe Biden has not looked more happy than to announce he talked to President Trump after his victory. This man is smiling ear to ear. Joe Biden, man, he looked like he was 10 years younger. Yeah, this man, Joe Biden, I don't believe he actually likes Kamala Harris. I really don't. Joe Biden actually wore a red dress to go and cast their vote for president. Now, we don't know how they voted, but a lot of people are speculating that him and Joe Biden, they went MAGA. They probably voted for Trump. That would be hilarious, guys. And the way that Joe Biden actually sabotaged Kamala Harris's campaign, there's no way in the world he would actually appoint her to the Supreme Court. And I believe, guys, that it won't happen. Another reason why is that the Democrats right now have a 51-49 majority. And you may be thinking, all right, they got the majority. It's just a simple majority. Well, another problem is, guess who actually caucuses with the Democrats? He did not come out and endorse Kamala Harris. He said he would never endorse her. That would be Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin is not a fan of Kamala Harris. So even if Biden actually nominated her for the Supreme Court, Joe Manchin is not going to vote for her because Kamala Harris wanted to abolish the filibuster. There's no way in the world that Joe Manchin is actually going to cast a vote for Kamala Harris to actually be put on the Supreme Court. Now, Joe Manchin does have principles, okay? Remember, he actually left the Democrats, okay? He's retiring. It's going to be a Republican that's going to be coming in. This is not going to happen. But we need to listen to this, guys, because even the panel here on CNN, they're kind of caught off guard by what Bakari Sellers actually said. Let's play it.
Liberal. And so I hope that Joe Biden makes the next 10 weeks as consequential as he can. I don't care about drawing outside the lines or what Republicans may think about it. This is within your purview. You can actually do it, and you should do it. And, one more thing, John, is you have a hell of a vice president right there who has a legal pedigree to sit on the Supreme Court. And let Republicans go crazy. And
look at that look.
I'm even mentioning that option.
You floating? Are you floating? This is 7:39 a.m. on the East Coast. Did Bakari Sellers just float Vice President Kamala Harris as a potential Supreme Court nominee?
Not only am I floating it, but I want to stir up everything. I want people's heads to explode this morning, so we go into the weekend just knowing that the chaos has not ended just yet.
Okay, so let's say that Kamala Harris was actually put on the Supreme Court, and it'll end up being 6-4 then. Guess who's coming in office in January 20th? That'll be one President Donald John Trump. Who's going to be in charge of the Senate? That would be the Republicans. So if they want to pull this stunt and put Kamala Harris on the Supreme Court, then Donald Trump can actually go and put in 2 more conservatives on the Supreme Court to bring that majority up to, if she's on the court, bring it up to 8-4. Yeah. If the Democrats want to play that game. This man cannot be serious, guys. He cannot be serious. It's not going to happen. This is definitely not going to happen, man. And does Kamala Harris even want to be on the Supreme Court? Not really sure. Not really sure. But this is a way for the Democrats to cope. They're probably saying, Donald Trump, you're not going to get rid of Kamala Harris that easily. But even if she was, man, it's still going to be a 6-4 majority. But it's not going to happen. And I was actually looking up because right now Kamala Harris is the tie-breaking vote. So if Joe Manchin doesn't actually go along with the Democrats and he sides with the Republicans, because there's no Republican that's going to vote for this, it's going to be 50-50. So there would be no majority. But Kamala Harris is the tie-breaking vote, right? Not so fast. I just looked this up. Look here. It says the vice president can't break a 50-50 tie for the Supreme Court, and no one cares. This is from January 27th of 2022. Okay? Can't do it. So it was actually Justice Breyer who Ketanji Brown Jackson ended up replacing on the Supreme Court. Okay? But apparently Kamala Harris cannot break the tie, even if it's actually 50-50. Okay? Cannot do it. Where does it actually say that right here? Says here, back during the Trump administration, Professor Lawrence Traub outlined the constitutional argument against the vice president's power to break a Senate deadlock over a Supreme Court nomination. While the Constitution is clear that the vice president can cast a deciding vote to break ties over legislation, Traub noted that the text does not extend this power to the Senate's advice and consent role in confirming nominees. Everyone's favorite hip-hop founder, Alexander Hamilton, even said as much, I should say, in the Federalist number 69, quote, in the national government, if the Senate should be divided, no appointment could be made, contrasting the Constitution with state governments that do allow the executive to break ties on their own appointments. Traub is also certainly right about this point, but this ship has sailed. While no Supreme Court justice has ever needed a tie-breaking vote, vice presidents can and do vote to confirm other nominees. So right there, guys, this is just not going to happen. It is not going to happen. Bakari Sellers, man, this man is probably coping so hard. Not going to happen. Because if she actually does it, and I believe the Supreme Court, aren't they like done for the year now? I don't think they really got much of anything. And if Trump comes in and Kamala's there, guess what? He can nominate someone else. So, but there you have it, guys. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we will catch you next time.